welcome to There's No Place Like Home. This program is sponsored by the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County in cooperation with Pinellas County Communications and the Department of Health and Community Services. I'm Catherine Driver alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. Hello, Jane. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are too.
I am.
It's certainly starting out to be a very, very warm summer. Do you think?
I don't think warm is the right word. I'm thinking hot and muggy. Yes, it's going to be a hot July and August.
Well, it's very good to be with you today on WRXB 1590 AM and also Pinellas County Connection TV, particularly since today's topic is going to be featuring tips that you can use to help you save money on your power bills. We're all trying to stay cool during this very hot summer, and our guest is going to have some great tips. Coming up in a few moments, we're going to be talking with Joe Triolo. He is from Duke Energy, so make sure you've got a pen and paper ready. You'll want to take some notes down for some important information that, again, hopefully will save you some money. But before we start that conversation, I know that, Catherine, you have an update from our sponsor, the Housing Finance Authority.
Yes, I do. Thank you. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering our first-time homebuyers program, Your Key to Home Ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. The First-Time Homebuyers Program is for individuals who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or are veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that also with the Home Key Second Mortgage. To get your key to home ownership, please call 727-223-6419 or visit our website at www.pinellascounty.org/community/HFA. To reach us for more information or comments about the show, please call us at that same number. Again, it's 727-223-6419, or you can email us at newhome@pinellashfa.com. You can also watch past shows on the website or catch us on YouTube. Jane?
That is such great information, Catherine, and I know that the First-Time Homebuyer Program has helped a number of people, as you mentioned, not only Pinellas, but Pasco and Polk counties as well.
Yeah, we're very happy with, the progress that we've made. Currently, we're offering a 3.99% mortgage rate, which is well below the current market, and we're offering $10,000 of down payment and closing cost assistance. So it's really a great opportunity for first-time home buyers.
And we've talked about this before in the show, the fact that a lot of people have the monthly mortgage payment that they can handle without a problem, and they still have money left that they can use for saving and maintenance and those kind of things. But it's oftentimes just coming up with the initial down payment that's required, and that's where your program has helped so many people.
Absolutely. So if you are interested in more information, please contact us, because we do have a particular group of lenders that participate in our program. It's not just any lender within the community, so you'll want to call us to get that information.
And I know your rates do change. So today you said that it was $3.99, but we know with all rates that is subject to change.
Exactly. So please visit the website or call us for the current rates and the current amount of down payment assistance available.
Awesome. Well, I am very pleased to be able to introduce our guest for today. He's going to give us some very helpful energy saving tips and, again, ways that we can save money on our monthly electric bills. And joining us from Duke Energy is Joe Triolo. He's the program manager for 2 energy efficiency programs, not just one, but 2. First up, the Home Advantage Program, which is for new construction, and the Home Energy Improvement Program, which applies to existing homes. That's going to be particularly important for people who may want to make some improvements to their properties at this time. Joe is also on the board of the Pinellas County Housing Authority, and we'll also talk about some of the exciting projects the Housing Authority is working on. So welcome to There's No Place Like Home, Joe.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Actually, probably should say welcome back, because you are
that's right.
a returning guest. And
been here a few times.
Exactly. Especially about this time of the year, we like to bring you in and talk about some
I'd like to get invited when the weather gets cool. That's when that's when I'd like to come.
I'm not really sure when that is.
That's right.
Well, as we talked about earlier, it certainly seems like it's turning into a very long hot summer, and we know a lot of people are probably struggling out there to pay their monthly electric bills. What are some of the really high energy consumptions that we have in our homes and in our apartments?
Well, as you've pointed out, it is the hot time of the year. And as you can imagine, in single-family homes, the biggest consumer of energy is your cooling. Your heating and cooling takes about 43% of your power bill for a single-family home. It's about the same for a multifamily home. But this time of year, it's so hot, it's so humid out, like we pointed out. People are turning the thermostats down, trying to keep the house cool. Some people don't understand how the HVAC system works. And when I say HVAC system, that's referring to the heating and cooling system. But being able to keep your thermostat down, control different things in your home can make a difference on that energy bill for your cooling.
So, did you say 43%?
Yeah, it's high percentage.
Wow, that's huge.
I have a question for you along those lines. Let's say somebody's going away for the weekend. I've heard different theories on should you turn your air off for the weekend when you're gone and then turn it back on when you get home, or should you turn the temperature up while you're gone and then turn it back down when you return? Like, which takes more energy to cool your house back down after you've been gone for, say, a weekend or a vacation, or is that not even really factor in?
Well, it all depends on the construction of the home, what type home you have. For the most part, it's better to keep your AC on, but just put your thermostat up higher.
Okay.
Keeping your thermostat set correctly can save you over $300 a year. We recommend that you keep it at 78 degrees during the when you're there. When you're not there, if you're going to go away for the week and you're going to be gone, you could turn it up into maybe in the 80s, 82, 83 degrees.
Okay.
Keep it on so it'll keep the air circulating through the house if it does get very hot. Because this time of year, if you've got a home that is, got a lot of direct sunlight, it's very easy for that house to get hot quickly. So,
Right.
Keep it up higher, but you don't want to get it too high.
Okay.
And maybe even close the blinds that, where those windows are getting that direct sunlight.
You're
Would help.
taking my tips from me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Yes, Jane.
No, that actually is that's a great point, because one of the things that we do recommend to people, it's a very inexpensive, I shouldn't say expensive, but it's not something that you have to necessarily, most people have window coverings. Keep your windows covered. Keep that heat from coming into the house. A lot of times you can put awnings up outside to keep the direct sun off your windows. Plant trees and bushes in areas where you have the windows. It just keeps all that sun off your windows, keeps some heat out from coming in.
Very good. I'm starting to see a lot of ads for different light bulbs. They're all different sizes and shapes now, and it's kind of confusing to know which one you should buy. Can you
Right.
kind of give us an overview about the light bulbs that are on the market
Sure,
and
I'd be
the
happy
different
to.
effects they have?
Well, for years we've used what they call incandescent light bulbs. And an incandescent light bulb is a light bulb that emits heat by transmitting that heat to a filament that's surrounded by a lot of gases and gets up to about 4,000 degrees right inside that filament. So as you can imagine, it gets so hot, and anybody who's touched a light bulb that's been on for a little while, it provides a lot of heat. That's how they provide the light. So an incandescent light is not very energy efficient at all. Actually, if you've got a home and you're trying to cool it and you've got a house full of incandescent light bulbs, you're fighting. You've got heat coming from the light bulbs, but you're trying to cool the house down. So they're not efficient at all. The government is working now to try to get them phased out. I don't think they ever will be. There's a misnomer out there that they're going to quit making them. That's not necessarily true, but they are going to back down as many as they make and try to make some of the smaller size bulbs a little more efficient. CFL bulbs, which are compact fluorescent lamps, they have a current that is driven through a tube that's filled with argon and a very small amount of mercury vapor. This creates kind of an invisible UV light, which activates a phosphorus coating inside that reacts and creates light. I don't know if you've been out in a boat at night, sometimes in the water, where you see the phosphorescent in the water,
yes.
kind of that same principle inside the bulb. CFLs use about 75% less energy than a traditional incandescent bulb. So it's a lot more energy efficient, doesn't get that heat that heats up the house. And then you've got LED bulbs, which are light emitting diodes. And those are the most efficient bulbs there are out there. They don't produce any heat at all. They use about 85% less and they last a lot longer. They can last, depending on your use, there's a lot of claims out there they'll last 20 years. They just don't go bad. They've been around for a long time. You've seen them in your those little lights on your stereo and on your radios and your remote controls. Those are little tiny LED bulbs. So the technology is not new, but it's getting bigger now in the commercial and residential use to where they're making the bulbs. Years ago, they were very, very expensive. They are coming down. They are still fairly expensive. But it definitely is the more energy efficient way to go, and it'll save you a lot on your electric bill.
And you see a lot of the LEDs in the Christmas lights and all of that now, don't you?
Yes. Like I said, in the last few years, in the last 3 years specifically, they've come down in price quite a bit. I was at one of the big box stores the other day looking at them, and you can buy an LED bulb now for about $9 or $10. Still a lot more than an incandescent bulb. You're going to pay $1 for those. But the thing about it is it's going to use a lot less electricity. You're not going to have to replace it. So there are a lot of advantages to it, especially in newer homes where you've got maybe some elderly people or some people with disabilities that really have a hard time changing out bulbs. You put it in and they're never going to have to deal with it. They're never going to go bad. So there's a lot of benefits to using them.
Now, I understand that you all have people who can do home energy checks. Tell us about that. How does that work? What's all involved with that?
Well, there's a couple different ways you can do it. We have a program that offers incentives for implementing energy efficiency products into your home. And one of the requirements is that you have an audit. One way you can do it is you can call Duke Energy. You can call 1-877-574-0340 and ask for an energy expert to come to your home, and they will do a walkthrough, and they will check your insulation, they'll check your ducts, they'll look at your windows, your doors, see how your seals are, and they can give you a lot of different ideas of how to save energy. That'll qualify you for your audit. Another way you can do it is call that number I just gave, and I'll give again at the end of the show, and you can ask to do it over the phone. We have energy experts at the office that will answer your calls, and they will give you information over the phone. They'll ask you some questions. You may know the answer, you may not, but they're skilled and talented and know what to ask and how to determine what you kind of have in your home for energy efficiency, and they can give you some ideas there. And then you can also go to duke-energy.com and you can do it over the web. So there's 3 different ways to do it. But I do want to point out that the audit is a requirement before you get the work done. So it is something you need to get done before the work is completed. And then you can apply for your incentive.
So what are some of the common things that are found during this home energy check that we might be able to identify ourselves beforehand and maybe take care of it on our own?
Well, identifying yourself unless you understand what they really are. 2 of the biggest things that we see in the homes when the auditors go out there is a lack of insulation up in the attic. Okay. So once again, for you to go up there, unless you really know what you're looking for, it's hard to tell. There's a way that we go up and measure it, and we can calculate the value, the R value of the insulation. The R value is how the insulation resists the heat, and the greater the number, the better. Over time, a lot of the insulation will kind of deteriorate, get packed down. You might have the cable guy up in the attic a couple times. He stomps it down. Right. So you lose some of the value. So they can go up there and they can tell you what kind of insulation you have, what the value is. Another item that we see a lot of in homes in Florida are leaky ducts. And ducts are the way that the air is carried through the house and delivered through different rooms. If you have a leak in your duct system, you're basically taking cold air that your HVAC system is generating and dumping it into the attic. It's not doing you any good. So leaky ducts is a very, very big way that energy gets lost. So between ducts and insulation, those are 2 things that we have incentive programs for that you can save a lot of energy in your home.
Oh, that's really good. So if folks are getting ready to do a major renovation or some new construction, what are some things that they can put in place to increase their home's energy efficiency? And what kind of tips do you have for folks who are doing a renovation or perhaps maybe building a new home, some things that they can look at putting in place that, might be kind of new and folks might not have heard of or, might not be as familiar with?
For what you put into the home, obviously now there are a lot of requirements through the building code that require that you put in energy efficiencies. But you can always add a little bit more. We have a program that incentivizes, it's called the Home Advantage Program, and we incentivize for people that put items of energy efficiency in their home that are a little bit above code.
Okay.
For instance, right now, The SEER rating, which is the seasonal energy efficiency rating of an air conditioning system, is 13. Well, we have a program that'll incentivize you if you put a 15 SEER in. It's a little bit higher, a little more energy efficient, but we'll give you a monetary rebate for doing that for your Home Advantage program. We also will incentivize reflective roofs. We'll incentivize high efficient windows that are a little bit above code, because windows are another big thing that a lot of the heat gets in, a lot of heat transfers through your windows. So we have incentives for that. Wall foam insulation. So it's a great program that offers incentives just to help people when they're building a new home, make sure they're getting the right thing, getting the better products in the home, and make it more sustainable. You had mentioned earlier about the cost of your home. Now everything seems so expensive, so you want to try to minimize those monthly costs that you have, and the more control you can carry on with that, the better you are being able to afford the rest of the house.
So somebody who might be looking at taking advantage of some of these incentives that you offer, what's that process like, and how long does it usually take to actually realize that incentive?
Well, it all depends on the construction of the home. We have account executives who will go out and work with the builder and make sure that they're getting all the right products in. We do inspect it. We're required by law to make sure that what they're saying they put in, they do put in. Once the house has got a meter set, which means the power meter is set onto the home and the account is set up, if all the paperwork is submitted and everything is complete, the requirements are met, then we will issue the payment to the builder for the amount of the incentives. It's a fairly easy process. And as I said, we've got account executives in all of our regions that are very proficient, very good at what they do, and they work with a lot of different builders, from the big builders to the small builders, and help them through the whole process with the incentives and what they need to do.
So it sounds like people really should take advantage of this opportunity and just call you or look at the website and get the information on how to get started.
Absolutely. That's a great resource. And go to the website, like I said again, www.duke-energy.com, and you can go to Save Energy, and there'll be a section there that says Home Advantage, Residential New Construction, and it'll give you all the information on there.
I want to talk about more tips, more energy-saving tips that we can do in our home or apartment, or maybe even in the workplace. The workplace is something we really don't talk about that much, but there's probably a lot of opportunity that we could actually save some money at our place of employment.
Well, there are. And a lot of times people don't think about the simple things like turning your calculators off. Some people have a fan underneath the desk, and they'll have it on, and they go away for the Friday, and they leave it on, and the fan runs all weekend long. Making sure those little loads on the system are turned off. They call those vampire loads. It's those things that kind of suck energy all the time that people leave on. Leaving your computer on, leaving a radio on, anything that has got. A lot of times those little electronics that we have little lights in them, and even though it's very small, they're on all the time, and people don't think to turn them off. So in the workplace, that's something you can do. In the home, there are a lot of other things you can do. We talked about raising the temperature on your thermostat and then lowering it in the winter. We talked about blocking the sun from your windows. Also, another good tip, being is how the heating and cooling is such a big percentage of your bill, is change your filters. I can't emphasize that enough.
Oh, yeah.
Change your air filters. We recommend you do it once a month, all depending on your home. We have gone into homes before that people have been living there for 5 or 6 years and have never changed their air filter. And if you can imagine a picture of a filter that's just so clogged with dirt, and the air is not able, the air conditioning system just working so hard trying to pull the air through that, if you change that filter, it just really makes your unit run a lot smoother, and you'll save a whole lot. So that's really, really important to change your filters. Another simple way, this is the time of year that everybody is usually outside, doing different things. Take a grill and start grilling some of your meals. Think about how much heat you generate in your home when you turn the oven on and you've got 2 burners on in your kitchen. All that heat's going through your home. Maybe start grilling a little bit more. Get all that heat from outside of the house. Another way is when you're cooking. A lot of times now people will put if you look on a stove, you'll have big burners and little burners. And people will put a small pot on a big burner. and you have that burner sticking out from the edges of your pot, well, that doesn't make sense. So try to put the right size pot on the right size burner. That might sound like a silly little thing to do, but if you think about it, it's directing all the heat in what you're cooking and not expanding it through the kitchen, which ends up going through the house. So a lot of little things you can do like that to save energy.
Well, I've learned a few things.
So have I. I'm going to have to go home and go back to the office and look around and see what I've missed. I really liked all those tips.
Well, another one you can do too, and I wanted to point this out, is your hot water. Hot water uses up about 10% of your energy bill. So what you can do with hot water is most of the hot water units, when they come in from the factory, they're set kind of high. You can turn that down. Some of them will be set up to like 140 degrees, which is very, very hot. You can actually turn that down to 120 degrees and even lower if you want and still not lose any comfort, and that'll save quite a bit on your bill. Now, we don't recommend that as a homeowner you do it. You should have a licensed electrician or a plumber come in and do it because you are messing down there with the electrical system. But it's something that you can do, and it's not a whole lot to do, and it'll save you some money.
So you're recommending that 120 is a good temperature?
120 is a good temperature. I mean, I've got mine set to 110, and it's still hot. It's still hot. You really don't notice it. So, but that way it just doesn't cycle as much. It doesn't turn on as much because if you've got it set high, and it's just sitting there, as that water cools off and you're not even using it, then it kicks back on.
Well, we mentioned earlier that you're on the board of the Pinellas County Housing Authority, which is a different entity from the Housing Finance Authority, but they both do very similar great things for home buyers and renters. And recently one of your projects, the Pinellas Heights Senior Apartments, received a pretty exciting award, and we're kind of hoping you can tell us about that and maybe some of the other projects that you have going on with the Housing Authority.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I am very proud of the staff and everybody at the Housing Authority. They do such a good job. And as a commissioner there, you're only as good as the people that are running the day-to-day operations. And we have a tremendous staff. We have a tremendous executive director who does a really, really good job, Debbie Johnson. I can't speak highly enough about her. She does so good. Our mission at the Housing Authority is to provide safe, quality housing for persons in need and to cultivate healthy, vibrant neighborhoods for Pinellas County. We take a lot of pride in that. We take a lot of pride in building projects that are sustainable. Because once again, going back to the energy efficiency, it's hard enough to maintain the cost of your home, but if you can lower those monthly costs, it makes the home itself a little bit easier. So we try to do that. Pinellas Heights is a 153-unit senior center that we just got our certificate of occupancy, I believe, in February. It's already full. We already have a waiting list, so now we're actually thinking about a possibility of another one because we've got a lot of people in line. It's a development that total costs were a little over $24 million, and it was done with a lot of different partners and a lot of different help. The Pinellas County Housing Finance Authority helped out, tax-exempt perm loans, City of Largo, county housing trust funds, deferred developer fees are all kind of entities that kind of put into that project. Very proud of it, and the seniors over there really, really like it.
I know. Speaking of electricity, it is just electric over there. Those residents are so proud of their property, and it is absolutely beautiful. You all really did a great job there. It's gorgeous.
Well, once again, we just kind of guide the ship. It's the staff, the development group that did the work. They're the ones that really deserve the credit because they worked hand in hand and they got this done timely. They got it done within cost, which is very rare in the construction business. But we're very, very happy with it. It's the accessibility. 100% of the units have roll-in and walk-in showers. There are 137 one-bedroom and 16 two-bedroom units. A lot of amenities. The leasing, like I said, we're 100% leased now. We do have a waiting list, so we're really happy about it.
That's great.
And it's an award-winning community
that's
too,
right.
Isn't it? Yeah,
the National Green Building. It's got a National Green Building Silver Certificate, which talks about its energy efficiency and some of the things that we've done. And the National Green Building Society doesn't just give it for energy efficiency. There are a lot of things that fall into place, the location, the different amenities, the things that it has, along with the efficiencies. So we got the Silver Award, and we're very proud of that.
That's awesome. And it really is a community environment. As you said, it has a lot of great amenities to it, and I can certainly understand why it's full and that there is a waiting list. So does that mean that you are actively looking at identifying another property to?
We're always looking at identifying properties. Right now, we've got the landings across Bayou, which is the old French villas on 54th Avenue. We are totally renovating 184 units over there. That's going to be back online fully, hopefully by spring of 2015. It's going to be all redone and revamped, and it's really, really another one of our nice projects we're very proud of. Duval Park is a supporting housing unit for veterans and veteran families. We're partnering with the Boley Centers and Social Service Source and Blue Sky Communities to provide rental subsidies for 44 units at Duval Park, which is an 88 planned unit community center for veterans. We're also working with the greater Ridgecrest area with the master plan over there, which you may be familiar of. We're using a top-notch firm called Torrey Gallis, which has been selected in the planning process. So we're going to be meeting in the fall of this year with the community leaders to find out what they need and what they want for a master redevelopment there. So we're really excited about that. And then we also continue to work on housing for veterans. We work with a lot of VASH vouchers, which are Veterans Assistant vouchers for housing. We work with the VA staff to make sure the placement goes smoothly and the transition happens. We also work with youth aging out of foster care and homeless families who've completed residence and self-sufficiency programs to try to get them in homes. So we've got a lot going on at the Housing Authority. We're very active.
You do, and it sounds also like you're really able to identify and meet the real needs that are in the community. You know, taking care of those populations that actually need the housing.
Right, and there's a lot of that. And once again, I can't say this enough. I go back to the staff. We've got a great staff who identifies those needs. We also have an assisted living facility that we own, Magnolia Gardens, which is we got 100 units, 110 beds, fully assisted living facility with at affordable prices. So we have a lot of people in our staff that seek out and look for those different things, whether it's for veterans, whether it's for elderly, whether it's for disabled, whether it's for Section 8, no matter what it is, we try to get the whole thing. And once again, one of the things that our strategy of the board has been is to make sure we make everything we do sustainable.
Very good.
Well, and it seems like you have a real passion for this too.
Yeah, I've been involved in it in a long time. So I do. I've been on the Housing Authority board since 2009, and we've got a great board. We've got a very diverse board. We've got experience in construction. We have a CPA. We have an attorney. We have somebody that's in government, and then one of our representatives is a resident. Most Housing Authority boards have a resident commissioner. So we have a very good grasp of all the different things that come into play when it comes to affordable housing. And then, like I said, with a great staff, with Debbie Johnson and all the people at the authority that do the work, from the maintenance people to the office staff, they do a great, great job. I couldn't be more proud of them.
Well, we are also proud of you and the authority and all of the great accomplishments, and wish you much continued success and
Thank you.
Helping our community make sure that they've got decent housing to live in.
We will keep working at it.
Awesome. Well, I can't believe we're already out of time.
I know. Where did the time go?
But thank you so much, Joe, for joining us today and giving us all the great energy tips. I'm going to go home and take a look around and make sure that I'm doing my part.
Check that filter.
Exactly.
Check your
Yes,
thermostat.
absolutely.
Yeah, those are the first things I'm going to be checking on. Again, Joe Triolo from Duke Energy, thank you for joining us today, as always.
Thank you for having me.
And we also want to thank our friends with WRXB 1590 AM and, of course, our own Pinellas County Communications Department, Dan in the back there, keeping us on track. Please join us again next month and contact us if you'd like to get more information or want to give us some feedback. We always enjoy hearing from you. I'm Jay Merlin.
And I'm Catherine Driver.
Thanks for tuning in. And remember, there's no place like home.